When cabbage goes on sale after St. Patty's Day, Germans don't make corned beef. We make this. Today we're going to make Schichtkohl. Schichtkohl is the lazy, no-fuss cousin of cabbage rolls. Cabbage rolls are a little bit harder to make, but if you do want to see that recipe, I'm going to link it in the top right as well as in the description down below. For Schichtkohl, it is basically a deconstructed cabbage roll. It is easier to make, it is just as cheap and healthy. Alright, before we start cooking, let's talk about the nutritional value of this dish since it is quite a powerhouse. If you don't want to see any of that, that's absolutely fine. You can just skip ahead. I'm going to have the timestamps down below. But if you are curious, only 3 leaves of green cabbage, even though we know we're going to cook it, that is about 1 portion, will have about half of the vitamin C that you need all day. It has the full load of vitamin K. It has about 11% of fiber, and the best news, if you're anything like me who struggles sometimes with weight, as I am right now, is it's only 24 calories, so I consider this free. We're going to use caraway. Caraway is a great antioxidant and it supports your digestion. So let's talk about what those numbers actually mean. We all know vitamin C, it's a great immune boost, so this is what you really want next time your kid comes home with the next best virus of the season. But vitamin K may not be as obvious to people. It's good for heart health and bone health. So here's the thing. When making cabbage rolls, you always end up with these. Some slightly tragic torn-up pieces of cabbage. Let's do a little prep. We need to chop our cabbage. We will need a whole onion. 3 slices of bacon, or Speck if you're in Germany, and pork. This recipe doesn't care if your leaves are broken, tiny, or left over from yesterday. We're going to chop everything anyway. If you made cabbage rolls yesterday, use your leftover pork and add 1 pound of fresh ground pork. If you don't have leftovers from yesterday, that's okay. Just use 1.5 to 2 pounds of ground pork. You will also need 4 to 6 cups of vegetable broth, that is about 1 to 1.5 liters. If you're enjoying this content so far, please like this video. It lets YouTube know that others should see this too. Now for seasoning, we need salt, pepper, and caraway. Let's grab a little oil. Most dishes in Germany start with oil or bacon. In this case, both. Start by adding about 1 tablespoon of oil, although for me I got a little bit more out, which is not a problem, we can still go ahead. And then add your bacon. Set the heat to medium-high and let it sit until you can start smell the bacon. It's starting to smell pretty good. So now to the fun part, adding the pork. This is my leftover pork. It's very important to not let this leftover get more than 1 day old because you don't want to get sick. And here's the fresh pork. As you saw, I was breaking down the pork already, but how I like to do it, I let it sear for a little bit, and now I go back in and try to break it down even further. We're going to add salt, but not too much. Remember, you're using bacon and vegetable broth. And we're also going to use a generous amount of pepper. In order to build a good sauce, you want a good sear on the pork, but not only on the pork, you also want it on the onion as well as on the cabbage. So we are going to wait for the pork to start showing the first browning, and then we're going to add the onion and the cabbage. Just a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. And give that a moment. After about 1 minute, I'm giving it a stir. And I will do the same thing with the cabbage. I put the lid on right now because the cabbage is really bulky and I want it to be able to settle down a little bit so I can stir it. So creating the steam inside the pot will help to settle it down. So we're going to check in after about 5 minutes. You see the brown on the bottom and you're concerned, don't be. That is what we will get our flavor from in a moment. Now I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Makes me think of Alex Bonagelli. Every time you salt every layer. And now is the point where I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of caraway. Trust the process. I know it looks like it's burning on the bottom, and it's not really burning. Look, it's brown, and that will help us develop a really good sauce. One ingredient I forgot to mention is all-purpose flour. We're sprinkling 1 tablespoon of flour over the mix. Stir. Start adding your broth. Because I didn't use a full cabbage and I didn't use 2 pounds of pork, I'm only adding 4 cups of vegetable broth. And I'm going to cover it. And we're going to let it simmer for about 30 to 45 minutes. We will check on it in 30 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to peel my potatoes, put them into salt water, and get them to a boil. 30 minutes are over. Let's check it out. It looks actually pretty good. I don't think we need to do the 45 minutes. 30 minutes was enough for this batch. Let's turn off the heat. I like to serve my Schichtkur with potatoes, mashed, boiled, however you like it. Please comment down below if you have tried this recipe and how much you liked it. And if you enjoyed this content, please click that like button and subscribe. It really helps my channel. And why not stay for a while? Check out this video that YouTube thinks you like. Can I not talk? I can't talk. I can't talk today. Leute, das wird so nix. Let's try it again.